Hello and welcome back to this channel. We are quickly approaching winter season 2022 in Europe, and here are 10 places to visit this winter. Even though the temperatures are dropping rapidly in Europe at the moment, this doesn't mean that it's not a good time to travel. On the contrary, there are much less tourists in Europe during that season, which means that you will have many places almost to yourself. You have Christmas season with beautiful Christmas markets. And of course there are some epic cities to explore, so let's get right into it. At the top of my list I've got Amsterdam, the capital of the Netherlands. And as I just mentioned, you will find a lot less tourists there during the winter season. Amsterdam is really popular in spring, summer and fall, but not as much in winter. But you will still find the beautiful colored house fronts, many warm snacks and drinks to try out. And last year when I was staying in Amsterdam during winter, the canals froze. So fingers crossed this is going to be the case again. Some people are going to go ice skating on the canals. It would definitely be a very different Amsterdam experience in comparison to what most other tourists get. So get to Amsterdam this winter, check out some other places in the Netherlands as well. But Amsterdam is a great base to start your journey. One of the most beautiful old towns of Europe can be found in Poland, and to be more precise, in Krakow. Their old town is worth a trip alone, but on top of that they got a beautiful fortress, local markets, and overall Krakow is still not as known as other European cities. It's in the southern part of Poland, and it can also be combined with other city trips or a visit to the southern part of the country. One of my all-time favorite places to go to in winter is Helsinki, the capital of Finland. The whole place is already exciting during summer, but winter just adds a different kind of coziness to the place. Keep in mind, days can be quite short there during winter because it's quite high up north and it also might get cold. But it's a very atmospheric place. As you can imagine, there is an ice rink. There are loads of decorations out during winter time. If you're looking for a trip around Christmas or New Year's, this might be your best choice. And if you're already in Finland, why not take the ferry over to Estonia, to Tallinn, its capital. It only takes 2 hours with the ferry, and Tallinn is a very underestimated place. Their old town is again beautiful, and their Christmas market is one of the best in the world. You will find an interesting mix of Scandinavian and Russian architecture in many different parts of the city. And while you're in Tallinn, also make sure to stop by their cat cafe, have a nice tea and cuddle with the cats, then get out there again and have a relaxing walk alongside the coastline of the Baltic Sea. If you dare to go even more north, I recommend a trip to Reykjavik and the ever so popular Iceland. The biggest plus of Reykjavik during winter is that you might be able to see the northern lights. In fact, if you're going during winter, there's quite a high chance you will see them. But keep in mind, winters in Iceland can be quite dark. Sometimes there's only 4 hours of daylight per day. You can combine a trip to Reykjavik with a visit to a natural hot spring, or you can even do a road trip around the country. It's definitely highly recommended. Going back to the Baltic states, here's a place that's still quite underrated in my opinion. It's called Vilnius, the capital of Lithuania. The whole old town also looks like it's straight out of a fairy tale, with pink houses, cobblestone roofs. It's really pretty to walk around. Also, Lithuania is quite a cheap country to visit, and you can do some cool trips from Vilnius to castles or other interesting towns in Lithuania. A tourist highlight and a must visit in Europe is of course Venice, but not many people visit during winter. You will find empty streets in the evening, which makes the place just a lot more magical. The air is also really fresh, and I encourage you to take a trip out to the graveyard island. It's a very spooky atmosphere there, especially during winter. Also, all the gondola rides will just be a bit different to what you're used to or to what you've seen on movies. But of course, there are still the usual highlights not to miss out in Venice, so you definitely won't be disappointed during your trip, and you can even have ice cream in winter. Kiev is a place I've discovered for the first time last summer, so I've never been in winter, but I can imagine that it's a really cool place to visit during that time of year, because the color scheme and the golden turrets of the many monasteries they have just create a fairy tale place Kiev was once the center of an empire, now the capital of the Ukraine, but this royal atmosphere can still be felt all around the city. I encourage you to visit as many monasteries as possible, but definitely don't miss out on the underground monastery. You're gonna head down there with candles in your hand. It's quite a mystical and magical experience. If you're looking for a romantic getaway this winter, I would maybe recommend Vienna, the capital of Austria. There you can find great theaters, lovely pastries, the famous Ferris wheel you can have a romantic ride on, and overall a very elegant, cozy and royal atmosphere, perfect to get you in the mood for Christmas or making the most of winter season in general. Finally, I want to mention Belgrade. I'm sure it's an up and coming city. It's gonna become way more popular in the future, so go before everybody else is going, because the city is actually stunning. They've got one of the most impressive cathedral stairs I've ever seen in my life. It's also beautifully located just next to the Danube River. There's an artist quarter to have a nice coffee. It's a very enjoyable city, and again, you can take many interesting day trips starting in Belgrade. And there we go. I hope I was able to convince you that it's still worth it to travel during the cold season in Europe. If you have any other suggestions on what places we should visit during this winter season, let me know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching today, and I'll see you in the next video.